Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with Trooper Wellman and Trooper Cecina. Thanks so much for being here. I will tell you that we were talking before we went on the air, that one of the most special things that I am able to do in my day is to be able to come here once a week and hang out. And it's very special to me because, as I was explaining to you earlier, it's not just hanging out with the troopers and, whoever it is. And, sometimes I get a little bit giddy, like, depending on who's across from me and stuff, right? But, like, we're friends, right? And so it's very special. And so I say that if people believe and they feel, that they can feel through the television. And so when I say, like, look into this camera and say something, people feel, and they can look and they can see sincerity in somebody's heart. And that's why when people are on television, there's more people that people watch and not, because people can feel the sincerity of what they do. And so it's very special. And so it's very special to be able to spend time and and do what we're doing and to be able to grow. And so this is the second time you've been here.
Yes.
and we look forward to more. And Trooper Wellman, it's really cool because it's being able to spend time with a friend and be able to talk and be able to laugh and joke and go through hard times and great times, and sometimes things are so crazy, but you always sort of work through it.
Yeah.
Right? And so season 3 of Trooper Talk, how many episodes, Johnny? 116 or 17? And that's weeks, right?
Yeah.
So it's time. And so anyway, I'll open the floor. It's just great to see both of you, and I feeling that obviously a little bit of an emotional area because it's nice to see you, and I don't want to not have the Trooper Talk without you, Trooper. and so it's nice to be able to spend time and do things. So.
No, I agree. Coming here, I actually forget that we're recording most of the time because we end up just talking and conversation, and it's so comfortable. And I've really enjoyed our time together as well. And then I get flashback to reality when I'll get messages from friends and family and they screenshot us on TV. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let me sit up better next time because I forget, we're just talking. So I love coming here every week. And thank you so much for giving us this platform to get our message of traffic safety out there and connect with our community members. We honestly couldn't do this without you. So just thank you so much.
Yeah, and Trooper Cecina, I was sharing, there's a lot of things that are really cool that you're doing in your trooper life.
Yeah.
Right? And we're interested on learning about these things and stuff like that. And so, you want to share anything with us?
I have accepted a position with our governor's detail. So it's part of our dignitary protection division. Like we always talk about every episode, we have multiple different divisions within the Nevada State Police, and I am honored to accept this new chapter in my career. It's bittersweet because, I love coming here every week, and I've loved being the public information officer for my agency and being the face and the voice. It's truly just been an amazing ride these last 2.5 years, and I'm sad that it's ending, but I'm also excited for this next chapter. So I will still make appearances, I promise. I just am going to be a little more busy.
Yeah,
so.
of course. And so you get a take-home car. You wear this type of uniform.
So for our governor's detail, we have unmarked patrol vehicles and we wear business attire because essentially we are undercover, and we walk around with the governor and we are his protection details. So you can't go higher in a state, a higher power than the governor. So again, it's just such an honor to be on that team. Not many people leave that team throughout their career because it's such a fantastic position to be in. And it opens a lot of doors for when you retire, for private, security detail teams, for dignitaries when they come to town. it'll open a lot of opportunities, and you get exposed to a lot of really, really good training. So I'm very excited for this opportunity, but we'll see who's going to be our next public information officer for the Nevada Highway Patrol. So
It's very exciting.
time will tell.
Trooper Cecina, we love having you here, right? It's been cool the last, right? And so, you know, it's cool to see friends do different things, right?
Yeah.
Like you just told me, like, what was it that you just did now?
So recently became an instructor for EVOC, which is Emergency Vehicle Operations, where we teach not only our new members, cadets coming in from the academy, but we also recertify troopers who are currently on the road. I believe it's every 3 years or something. I believe it's every 3 years. And we take them out to the track, and we kind of have a refresher of operating a motor vehicle with lights at a high speed. Pretty much meet our 70-80% of capability to control the vehicle. So when we're out there on the road, it could be on a pursuit or we're just going to a call, we're confident on, because that's most of the, we do most of the day is drive. So why not be proficient, and why not be, know our platform and know what we're driving and be able to maneuver the car.
And you know how to push that car to the limit.
He sure does. I had a ride in there as the passenger because I went last week to be recertified. I was very impressed, I will say.
Oh, I want to know. Tell me.
Because I remember when he first started as a trooper, so now to see him as an instructor, I got in the car. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then all of a sudden...
No,
go ahead.
Hold on. You're going too fast. You get to the track.
Okay.
Okay, so you get to the track. And so you're in your uniform?
Yeah.
Okay. And so he's in the driver's seat, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're like, okay, I'm gonna just jump in the passenger seat. Like you don't really think about it, right? Like I go through a step by step here because this is interesting. Because here's what I'm saying to you. There's a difference when you know how to drive and you do it the correct way to taking a whatever car it is that has tires for 85 miles an hour and do 130.
Yes.
So again, you're putting your life, like we talk about, in somebody else's hands.
Oof, yes.
Right? And so that's important because we talk about that when it comes to the drinking and driving and all that type of stuff,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So you get in the car and gun.
Yeah, so Trooper Cecina went through extensive training to get certified as an instructor. Sometimes the EVOC course is almost just as hard as SWAT because there's a lot of stress behind it, and you have to be able to be comfortable with that vehicle at traveling at a high rate of speed. So he got certified, and so we're on a professional racetrack. Race cars drive on these tracks. They adjust our tire pressures, everything, so that way, and you could go more into detail about that, but that way, we're more proficient with taking turns faster and stuff. We do have multiple different techniques that we do and we learn, just different ways to steer and different ways to take a turn, different patterns, so that way you can keep up with the car if we were ever in a pursuit or trying to get to a destination quickly. It's defensive driving, ultimately. We're learning how to drive defensively in a safe manner without risking the public safety. And so, I get in the car, and Trooper Cecina is going to show me the track. So the first lap, we're just cruising and we're talking, like catching up. And then all of a sudden, he hits that last cone and it was like, woo! And then he just hit it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. Because I get kind of motion sickness. So I probably should have took some Dramamine or something. I wasn't ready. And so then he hit it. And we weren't even going that fast. But when you're not in control of the vehicle, it's so scary. It felt like a roller coaster ride. But he was cracking up because I was closing my eyes, like when he would turn the corners real fast. But ultimately, I trusted him because I knew, he's driven this track. I mean, hundreds of times. They just do, laps after laps to become proficient in it. And then we switched seats, and then I drove while he sat in the passenger seat and laughed at me.
Yeah.
No, I was really impressed, though. I wasn't expecting you to be able to control that vehicle that fast. So I was like, whoa, we're going okay. So it was cool. But then, moments like that, you look at your partner, and then now I know if I'm in a pursuit, that's who I want next to me because I know he can handle that car.
Right.
Or if we had to ride double, like, go ahead, you can drive.
It's very important, right? Because in today's world, we talk about the defensive driving, right? Where there's too many people that are offensive driving that we, as the motoring public, should be defensive driving, right?
Right.
And again, you know, you're trained, and you're
Yeah.
you know you're doing it, and it's repetition, and it's over and over. And if you had to get into a pursuit, you might look back in your mind, and even though it's like that laughing moment, but you're gonna remember, that exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And that's going to help you.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yes.
something that the motoring public, driving on the 215 or whatever road it is, that's not dealing with the same car in the same place, is not dealing with that every single time.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right?
And you know how they say when we're in a stress situation, for the example, like a pursuit or something, you always hold back on our training. Well, knowing that you had that training, that she got on behind the wheel and know how it felt driving that fast through those turns and everything, it gives you that confidence that I already did this, and you're not as stressed
Yeah.
as like
Yes.
first time jumping into a car. So you're able to focus more on what's in front of you, because you already went 80 miles an hour through the turns.
I think it's so important. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's so important that it's really it's like
Repetition is key.
people just drive their car generally from point A to point B, and they're done. You know what I mean? Like, I go for a drive in my car. Like, I know how it handles because I drive so much in it, so
Yeah.
I understand the way that it is, right? Not on a course or anything like that, but I can understand the car.
Right.
And most people don't get a chance to do that, and it's just, or a truck or whatever it is that somebody
Yeah.
drives, right? But and I know when I drive my truck, right, that thing is like a bullet. I mean, you go 75 miles an hour in that thing, and not only it feels like you're going 150, but you can't stop. Like, try to stop, and it's just
We take all our vehicles out on this course. If you're a commercial vehicle, what am I trying to say, trooper?
yeah.
You have an F-150 for your patrol vehicle, and they have to drive their F-150 out on that track and make sure that they are proficient with that vehicle.
Wow.
Our
Yeah.
Chargers, our Explorers. We do backing up courses. Like you practice how you play. So when we're out there, when we're doing pursuits, we're when your secondary unit gets there, they're taking over radio traffic. We're practicing together so that when the situation happens, we're proficient in our training, and we already know if Cecina pulls up and I was primary, I already know he's taking over radio traffic, and now I get to focus on the vehicle and what we're doing. They even took it one step further this year, which was phenomenal. Was they set up a barrier, and we got to practice throwing stop sticks to a moving vehicle as it came through the pursuit. So that way you feel what it feels like of an actual vehicle coming to throw it. It is, but it's a controlled environment, and it's a training. So that
yeah.
way the body doesn't go where the mind's never been. So if you've already experienced it and we practice in it, when it happens in real life, you won't be as scared per se or as hesitant
okay.
because you already know your tactics, and you know how you want to release the sticks, and you know where you want to set up that's a safe location. You know what you want to do because you've already planned this in your mind. And whenever we're field training new officers, that's something we always say in the car is, as you're driving, constantly play scenarios in your mind. If this car all of a sudden just pulled in front and crashed, what are you going to do? If you stop this vehicle and they jump out and they start shooting at you, what are you going to do? You play scenarios constantly, so that way you're always prepared to react. And that's the ultimate goal, is we need to be able to react proficiently and make the right choice when situations like this arise. So it was great training. We do training all year long throughout all of our divisions. So that's one thing that's just fantastic with Nevada State Police, is we make sure that we stay up on all our training.
Yeah, wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, again, the general motoring public, right? They're like, oh, all they do is write tickets.
Yeah,
they just
no.
pull people. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
But no,
there's more to it.
it's very important. You know what I mean? That
Yeah. Every year.
we have to do these things.
Every
right?
year, building searches, active shooter training. We clear buildings. We do defensive tactics. We go to firearms 4 times a year. We have to be proficient in every skill we do and every tool we carry. It's a lot of liability and a lot of responsibility, and it's something we don't take lightly. So our agency makes sure that we are up to the highest standard when it comes to training.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to some pictures.
That's
He passed. Today was 1 week.
Of what?
That he did the that he was not on the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
welcome.
I'm officially in
But
swing.
this is what I'm saying,
Yes.
right?
I'll say one more
1
thing.
week. Woo!
It was
right?
funny when I got in the car with him because he's such a quiet guy. Like, I have to, like, pull it out of him to get him to talk. And then to get in the car, and he's just like, vroom, vroom, vroom. I was like, who is this guy? Like, split personality over here. Silent but deadly.
It's confidence, right?
Yeah, it was
Like,
good.
you know what I mean? Like when you know.
Everyone has a strength. It's just a matter of
Right.
finding it.
Yeah, and
Go.
it's funny because when I first was blessed to go by myself on the road after finishing field training, I went to Graveyard, and she was in Graveyard at the time, so she showed me and taught me a lot of things, and it's just funny how life goes. Now I'm an EVOC instructor, and now I'm showing her
Right.
a little bit of the driving techniques and everything that I've learned. So it's just funny because you never know, like, who's going to be training for who. Like, I mean, I came in, I was fresh out of the academy,
Right.
and she guided me through stuff here and there out there on the road, and I'll be forever thankful for that. And then now I got to show her a little bit of
Right.
a little bit of the driving, and
Right.
got her scared and everything, but she did great. Just a matter of repetition.
Let me ask you, like, did you before, like, knew how to drive before you became a trooper, or like, I mean, obviously you knew how to drive a car, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, you knew how to drive, like, very proficiently, or like just from being a trooper and then them teaching you, you did this.
I mean, I knew how to drive, and I knew my capabilities of my vehicle and everything, but never have I ever driven at excess speeds over 80, 85, never with license irons or anything like that. So going in through the academy, going through the EVOC course and everything as a new trooper, new cadet, it was challenging because you're like, wow, there's more to driving than just getting on the car and driving and everything. So like she was saying earlier, the hand placement, the speed, looking where you're going to want to go and not stare at something, because
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
your eyes go where
Yeah.
the car will go where your eyes are looking at. So all that just they start teaching you all this, and you're like, oh my God, there's more to it. And then you start implementing those things out on the road, and it works, and it makes you safer, it makes the public safer, it makes you be able to handle responses much efficient
Yeah.
with license sirens. And
It's cool.
And that's
Yeah.
why when we stop people for speeding, or we respond to these crashes from people speeding at excessive speed, it's frustrating because there's no place for the speeds that fast on our roadways, first of all. And second, you don't know how to handle the car. You haven't been trained. We constantly are training in our vehicles and traveling at speeds like at a high rate of speed. And even still, we have policy and procedure in place because, like, it's all about liability and
Right.
safety for everyone, right? So,
Right.
like, if our situation outweighs the public safety, we're gonna shut down that pursuit and terminate it, or I should say abort. We're gonna abort it so that way, nobody gets hurt or it doesn't escalate further. And so when you see these individuals traveling at high rates of speeds with no wanton regard for the public safety or their own, it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that, with doing all that type of stuff, like you have the training, and when I watch that TV show, where they show the officers, live and they follow,
Yes.
they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, the question is, what are you after this person for? Well, he has a bad tail light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, just, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Right. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right, we'll get to some pictures. I wanted to talk about these lunatics with these lane splitting. Did you put that on there today? Because these people, listen, these people are not only out of control, but luckily I don't see it too much on the highway, right? Because there's really no reason to lane split on the highway. Like there's generally like enough room.
It's about a car or a
But
motorcycle.
like this morning I'm in the car and this lunatic drives like, you know what I mean? And so like you don't anyways. My car is fast, and in the SUV it has the V8, the twin turbo, right? And that thing's a rocket. But it's nothing compared to these things.
Oh no.
And you know, forgetting the fact of safety of two wheels and all, you know what I mean? But like, this guy on the freeway this morning had some stupid antenna sticking up on the back of the
Motorcycle?
on the back of the motorcycle, like, you know, maybe 4 feet in the air, so maybe you could see him coming. I don't know, whatever it was for, right? And it was painted black. And this guy is buzzing, and like I said, normally you don't see it on the freeways, but like, you know, there was a lot of traffic this morning, and like, you know, then some motorcycle gets off, you know, is getting on the freeway, and then all of a sudden they're buddies, right? So now
Yeah.
the two of them are going, right? And it's like, I don't know what to do, but like, you know, the thing is that it's something we don't talk about very much. You know what I mean? When the Trooper Thayer was here, you know, I mean, he's trained to ride a motorcycle that fast, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so lane splitting not only has to make you crazy because you can't catch the person, right? But like more than that, like they're just totally putting everybody's life in danger.
Yeah, well, prime example, it startled you. Like, if you don't see them coming, and by the time they already pass you, then the sound travels, so it startles you. And it takes one person to abruptly steer the wrong way because it startled you, and they're done. Like, their life is over, or they're severely injured or seriously injured, and it's just, was it worth it? When they're traveling at excessive speeds, it takes one pothole, one piece of debris in the roadway that they strike, and now they're completely ejected from their bike. And we're the ones that are, you know, I can't tell you how many times that we've either watched videos of troopers that have it's been caught on their dash cam, or we've responded personally to seeing motorcycle riders that are driving in a reckless manner, and they're traveling at high rate of speed, splitting lanes and passing people. And, you know, we can pursue them, but again, we got to evaluate if we're going to put the public at risk if we're trying to get through heavy traffic as this motorcycle just flew past us. It's not worth it in a way, right? And then so many times do we all of a sudden we're sitting there and we get the call 5 seconds later, motorcycle down, just, you know, south or north of our location. You're like, well, they crashed. Great. Now I got to go over there and, you know, render aid when it all could have been prevented, you know, if they just would have slowed down and practiced, you know, safe riding techniques. And it's just, it's unfortunate. I mean, we could tell people to ride safe all day, every day, because we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But they're going to do what they want to do. And so the best advice I could give the motoring public is if you see a reckless vehicle and they are putting others in danger, don't hesitate to call us, Star NHP. If we have someone in the area or we can get someone over there, we definitely will. But ultimately, just get yourself in a safe location to get away from that threat, because don't put you or your family in harm because this vehicle and this individual wants to travel recklessly.
Yeah, and I know, like, I don't know all the spots, but I try to remember. There are certain spots that have chunks out of the roadway.
Oh yeah.
Right, like, you know what I mean? Not huge, because they try to fix it as best they can, right?
Right.
But you know, like a hole, like there's like a hole, like whatever happened.
Pothole.
And so I know when I hit those things with a 4-wheel car that I'm
man.
scared
Yeah.
that I destroyed a rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That I can only imagine when you have 2 wheels and you hit something like.
Yeah, and I mean, even going at a high rate of speed on those motorcycles, one little thing, I mean, I'm sure we all seen it on videos or TVs, that their steering just starts going all over the place and they
Yes.
can't control it. And it's just, they're not wearing a seatbelt. So it's unfortunate when we get those calls and when there's a motorcycle down, because, yeah, it's how fast were you going? What were the things that you were doing? And hopefully the driver is wearing all his equipment and everything like that. I mean, there's a reason why they sell it. They sell all the equipment, protection equipment, helmets and everything. It's for you to wear them and, you know, be safe out there. Not just for motorcycles, but for other vehicles. I mean, there's vehicles who love to cut other people off. So, yeah, it's a tough situation, but it's even tougher for us when they're lane splitting and we're trying to catch them just to
I never thought
avoid
about
this
that.
happening.
Because the motorcycles always try to race me, but the motorcycle that gets somebody who wants to play with them in a car is probably really dangerous,
Yeah.
right? Because then it's a 2-wheel and a 4-wheel, and they're just slow down, people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
please
Like,
drive
you want a
safe.
motorcycle? Like, isn't it like, you know, you just get on there to just drive like across the country or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
take those scenic routes.
take the scenic
motorcycle.
routes. Look at this thing, Johnny. We have videos and pictures. Ah, this we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know his middle Skipper. Do you know why that is?
He
Was
had
it
a
boat?
A boat. Yeah, and
Oh,
that
that's
might
what-
be his middle name. I can't remember. But we named our canine dog in honor of him. One of our canine narcotic dogs is Skipper.
Really?
Yeah, it's in honor of Ben Jenkins,
Oh.
Sergeant Ben Jenkins.
Well, let's see. We have 3 videos to watch. Let's see which one plays.
I want to take a few minutes, and this is particularly effective for the fact that it is 9/11. We're honoring the soldiers who passed on state highways. These are ones who were killed in the line of duty on our state highways. We've always had an informal program naming the memorial, naming highways after them, but we have now made it official. But we would like to honor, there are 5 that have just been put up on here, and that would be NHP Officer Micah David May, NHP Officer Benjamin Michael Jenkins, Bureau of Indian Affairs Captain Jack Lee Spencer Jr., NHP Officer Carlos J. Worland, and Bureau of Indian Affairs Creighton Travis Spencer. We would also like to invite, all the signs have been placed except the last one, simply because it's in an active construction zone, and it will be put up as soon as the construction allows for it. We would now like to invite NHP Officer Lieutenant Colonel Malensko to say a few words.
He never says
Thank you,
that.
ma'am. Good morning, I'm Martin Malesko, and I'm the Lieutenant Colonel of the Nevada Highway Patrol. And today I'm joined here by Director of Department of Public Safety, George Tagliati, and Colonel Patrick Conway, who joins us in Carson City. Governor Lombardo and distinguished members of the board, we are here before you full of gratitude. On this solemn day, not only do we recognize and honor the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on our country, but we gather here to honor in memory of our fallen state troopers. Our hearts are heavy, but our spirits are lifted by the enduring commitment by the Nevada Department of Transportation and Assemblyman P.K. O'Neill, whose relentless pursuit led to the creation of these honorary roadway signs that immortalize their sacrifice. These signs, which will stand as silent signals along the highways they once patrolled, serve as a powerful reminder of the selflessness and dedication of our troopers. They symbolize not only the lives lost, but also the unbreakable bond between law enforcement and the communities they serve. As we navigate the roads ahead, let these signs be a beacon of courage, a tribute to the lives lived with honor, and a testament to the unwavering support of those before us. We offer our deepest appreciation. Your commitment to ensuring that our fallen heroes will never be forgotten speaks volumes about the unity and strength of our great state. Together, we will continue to pave the way for a safer and more compassionate Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
He came on the show. I got a little bit giddy when he was on here, and then when the major came on here, I really couldn't talk. I got to be complete. And the funny thing is that when the major, he always lets me interview him, but when he came on here, I was totally like starstruck. And when he was here, I was like, "Oh, I don't know what to ask," and you know what I mean. And when the lieutenant colonel was over here, we had the lieutenant chief, right, the deputy chief for parole and probation.
Yes.
And
Major
so
Schubert.
he was over here, and they were talking, him and Trooper Wellman, and then at the end I said, "Okay, you want to come over just to take a picture?" And he goes, "Okay," and then he came over, and then when he sat there, I said, "Oh, you want to say a few words?" And so we got him to talk just for a moment. So
There we go.
it's very special.
Yes.
Again, the thing that I recognize that's very cool is the leadership. And again, when we feel good about the leadership, that we want to work hard to aspire to not only make them proud and make ourselves proud, but it's really important. It's not just, we're going to wear this uniform and at whatever time it is, we go home, we throw this thing in the closet, that's the end of it. No, it's taken very seriously. And so to be able to have, roads and things, we hope that this never happens, because we don't ever want it to, but just like we've talked to Wellman, and the fact that if the ultimate sacrifice had to be done, that at least there's some form of honor. And so it's It's not what we want, but at least it's.
I know it's going to be a sad reminder, but at the same time, like, what an honor to drive by and see your loved one's name as on the highway as a memorial. Like, such an honor.
Yeah.
You know, a bittersweet, but
Bittersweet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really wonderful. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Oh,
Enforcement Officer of the Year. Oh, I met him.
Travis Perkins? I think you were at his ceremony when he got Trooper of the Year.
Yes.
So this is Trooper Travis Perkins, and what's neat about his story is he actually started as a mechanic in our garage, and he knew he had a passion for the community, and he loved working on our cars. He was a mechanic, not with us for 20 years, but prior to this, his previous career, he was like a mechanic for 20 years, and it was all about cars. And he knew he had a passion for law enforcement and always wanted to do it. And so he applied, and he went through his academy, and now he's a trooper. I think Perkins has been on maybe, 4 years? 3 years?
A little bit longer.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little
I mean,
longer.
fairly new, but his feet are wet for sure. But he got, not only did he get Trooper of the Year through Highway Patrol, but at the Traffic Safety Summit last week, he was honored for Enforcement Officer of the Year because of his stats alone. He does multiple things. So not only is he doing enforcement action as a trooper, so slowing cars down, educating the motoring public on traffic safety, but he also is certified as a commercial driver, commercial enforcement officer, I should say. So he can also stop semi-trucks and do inspections on the vehicles. So he does double duties out there, and he's just, I mean, one after the other. His stats were phenomenal this year, and that's why he was recognized because, you know, we don't look at it as like, oh, it's a speeding ticket. You wrote all these tickets. Good job. We look at it as you slowed this many cars down and saved this many lives. Way to go, because he was being proactive and being out there. And it wasn't even so much about the ticket part. It's just his interactions. He made so many contacts with so many vehicles. He works in our Laughlin area. So most of these people are either residents or they're just tourists. And so he made so many contacts and so many inspections on the commercial vehicles. He just definitely had an impact on the state of Nevada last year, and so it's great that he was recognized for it.
Yeah, well, so yeah, that's where I met him when he got the Officer of the Year for the promotion ceremony, and so that's really cool because Laughlin, where people are coming to and from Las Vegas, I'm sure they catch people blowing down the roads down
That's
there.
the thing. They're speeding. We do have, we had quite a few fatalities in our Laughlin area, to and from Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City area. So it's important that he's making these traffic stops, as well as, a lot of people go to the river down in Laughlin and have a good time. So we have a lot of impaired drivers that travel to and from. So we need our troopers out there stopping vehicles, making sure they're not driving impaired. And I mean, it all has an effect, right? It all makes a difference. So
yeah, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you coming. I thank you very much. It's it's really important. We got to keep getting the message out, and we got to keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? And so we still have a mission to do. We still have to stop these people from the impairment and from the speeding and things of this nature. So thank you very much. I appreciate both of you coming. I'm gonna have a tear at Trooper Woman. You know what I'm saying? I promise. All right, we'll wave just for now. Okay. All right. See you later.